Matt, what was Homan's message today?
Well, Homan announced a pretty big change in sanctuary policy here in the state of Minnesota. Homan says the state attorney general, Keith Ellison, tells the Trump administration that jails can start notifying ICE when they are going to release a wanted criminal illegal alien.
I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail.
This is a pretty big shift, Sandra, because the Trump administration has been asking sanctuary jurisdictions like Minnesota to at least notify them when they are going to release wanted criminal illegal aliens. Now the state of Minnesota says it will notify them. It's really going to be up to jails and local jurisdictions and sheriffs whether they'll be willing to detain some of these wanted criminal illegal aliens as well. Now, also, Homan announcing that agents will focus on targeted enforcements moving forward, public safety threats and national security interests. Our impression is that the agents will end those roving patrols here. That's what sources were telling us prior to Homan's announcement. The roving patrols, they were controversial because that's when the agents can just drive around, pop out of cars, question people, ask for ID. But Homan did say today that if you've entered the country illegally, it's, quote, never off the table for you to perhaps be questioned. Homan also was asked about a new video that appears to show Alex Preddy in a heated clash with ICE agents the week before he was shot and killed last Saturday. Preddy apparently spitting at an official ICE vehicle, kicking and busting out a taillight before being tackled to the ground. A family representative tells Fox the video is Preddy. He was injured but did not get medical care. An organization called the News Movement says it shot the video as part of a documentary. News Movement reports Preddy's gun is visible on him in the video. An attorney for the family writes, a week before Alex was gunned down in the street, despite posing no threat to anyone, he was violently assaulted by a group of ICE agents. Nothing that happened a full week before could possibly have justified Alex's killing at the hands of ICE on January 24th. The family attorney claims that Preddy was violently assaulted by ICE in this new video, but Border Patrol here on the ground tells me if you kick one of their cars, you break a taillight, it's a crime. And if Preddy was armed while he was kicked and spitting at the agents, it could be a felony because he was in the possession of a gun while committing another crime. Also, a little bit of some breaking news and update here. DHS tells us that an illegal criminal alien from Ecuador who had prior sexual assault convictions, he escaped authorities here 2 days ago, ran into the embassy for Ecuador, and, quote, the consulate employees protected this public safety threat, and he is still at large. So DHS seeking that suspected criminal illegal alien. Back to you, Sandra.
Got it. Matt Finn out of Minneapolis for us. Matt, thank you. John?
All right, let's bring in Chad Wolf with the American First Policy Institute, who's also the former acting DHS secretary. To the last point that Matt Finn made there, had that person been handed over to ICE in honoring a detainer, probably could have avoided that situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's all really ICE is asking for, is that if you're in if you have a criminal illegal alien in a county jail, and you're about to release them, let ICE know so that they can come in, pick that individual up, and then eventually remove them from the country. You're not asking Minnesota officials to enforce immigration law. It's basically a phone call. And to allow ICE to do their job in a jail setting that is much safer than on neighborhood streets.
Yeah, you know, Minnesota apparently after the conversation with Tom Homan says it's going to alert ICE when it's about to release a criminal illegal alien from prison, but that it's up to the locals whether or not to release them to ICE from county and local lockups. But that's been the problem all along because apparently Minnesota, the state Department of Corrections, has been cooperating, but it's the local jails that haven't. So what changed? Anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the devil's in the details here. I think, you know, Minnesota leadership needs to lean on those county jails, city jails, and others to say, look, this is our policy. You need to notify ICE before you release a criminal illegal alien. I think that's the only thing that's going to change here. I mean, that's what ICE needs to enforce immigration law, and they can do that in a very safe environment versus, again, going out into communities and neighborhoods. Like if Minnesota, you know, if the AG and others are really serious about finding a compromise here, well, then they've got to do their part.
Yeah, I got some figures from DHS. I just want to set this up here before we go to the actual graphic. So there have been 3,500 arrests of criminal illegal aliens in Minneapolis in the last 7 weeks since this surge happened. 11,000 in total in the state of Minnesota since Donald Trump took office. And we saw all of the chaos in the streets, all of the protests, 2 people killed as a result of interfering, getting involved in ICE operations. Take a look at these statistics from other states. There's been 88,000 criminal illegal aliens arrested in Texas, 34,000 in Florida, 30,000 in California, 12,000 in New York, 12,000 in Georgia, yet we haven't seen the same level of chaos in any of those states as we have in Minnesota, and in particular, one city, Minneapolis. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I attribute that to two things mainly. One are sanctuary policies that direct local police and others to not cooperate with ICE. And then 2 would be the leadership and the dangerous rhetoric that we have seen from the governor and the mayor, the attorney general, and others, calling ICE, not a law enforcement agency, the Gestapo, executioners. We need to go to war was one phrase that they used with ICE. That tells activists, that tells violent agitators, that tells others in the community it's okay to impede law enforcement. It's okay to get in the middle of an operation. And then bad things happen, unfortunately. You don't see that in other jurisdictions. And so that's why I think that this funding charade that we now see in D.C. is just that. What they've done is they said, okay, sanctuary policy cities make it very difficult for ICE to do anything. And then when there's an incident there, our response is we're going to clamp down on ICE even more. We're going to weaken ICE even more, which is what Democrats in the Senate want to do, which is exactly the wrong approach. Yeah. If you're going to go after, quote, reforms, then you need to reform sanctuary city jurisdictions as well.
We're going to be talking to Senator Eric Schmitt about all of that coming up in our next hour. I just wanted to finish off with this because Tom Homan has been doing this a long time. He received Medal of Appreciation from Barack Obama more than 10 years ago when he was working for a Democratic president. Tom Homan, a year ago, warned us that this was going to happen. Listen to what he said this morning.
I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. If you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president.
You know, what he said about a year ago is pretty prescient.
Yeah, it is. And again, ICE does the majority of their work out of sight, out of mind. They don't do it for the cameras. They do it in jail settings. They do it elsewhere. But you have certain jurisdictions, and I keep coming back to this because it's really important, because this is where we see the conflict and the chaos erupt. It's not in areas where local law enforcement supports ICE. It's in these other areas that just refuse to acknowledge that they have a mission to do. And then obviously will come in with very dangerous rhetoric as well.
Yep. They're forcing it out in the streets, literally. Chad, good to catch up with you. Thanks for joining.